Please help me in welcoming NFL Hall of Famer Will Shields.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? This is Will Shields. I really want to say thank you for allowing me to be a part of your virtual banquet. Thanks a lot for giving me a couple of minutes to be able to sort of talk about different things that we have experienced all over the globe, all over the world, all over the country, but also give you a little insight of being a ex-Husker, ex-Chief, and then from being a kid that grew up in a military town, which is always unique within itself, living off base, but, starting as a young kid, having a dream, having a love, having a goal, and understanding what it's like to be able to build together as a group, and then being a part of a great offensive line, whether it's in Nebraska or in Kansas City, the simple fact of what and how things sort of fit together and how you have to sort of give to get, and also how you have to work on growing as you're going through all the processes of what's happened over the last couple of years. I really love the simple fact that your mantra for this year, and I call it a mantra, is rise as one. Because of everything that's going on in the country today, we need to figure a way to rise as one, to ask the right questions and answer them in a positive and understanding way, to where we can all sort of work together and be that one team, that one vision, and that one goal, which is the priority. As being a young man, I also was trying to figure out how to fill that gap of where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. But being young and growing up in a small town, which I call small, which is not small as some towns, but for us, it was our little small part of the world where we lived right off a base, and we had fun going down to what we call Bicycle Park. Basically, it was a park that was cut out next to the creek, and we used to ride our bikes through it and jump ramps and hurt each other doing different things and trying different stuff. It's sort of that love of understanding what nature was about, and understanding that we all were part of this group that went down and had a good time, and understood that, hey, sometimes rough things happen, but we found a way to work our way out of it. And to me, that was one of those special times. Even when I go home today, we'll go down there back behind the apartment complexes that were down there from where we are, walk through the fields, go through down to where the creek is. And still today, you can probably find some old bicycle parts, some old different pieces of different things that we used to take apart and put together. And some people would discard different pieces of it down there, and we'd find them and put them back together. And I think that's something that we have to look at as being part of a group and part of anything else, is that we have to find the bits and pieces of things that are good and wholesome, and then build it together and make sure that everyone is a part of it, and everybody can be given an opportunity to do great things at any given time. Being a kid coming from that town and getting an opportunity to play at college, which is one of those things that I had never imagined at that point, of being able to get a chance to go to college, or how I was going to get to college. And fortunately, we had a great high school football team that had quite a few guys that ended up playing in the pros, and we ended up having, an opportunity to go to a football camp. And at that point, the football camp sort of changed our lives. There was 14 of us that went to the camp, and we got an opportunity to show our skills, which we didn't really think we had a lot of skills at that point. We were just excited that we were leaving Lawton and getting a chance to get in a van or a bus. And I think before that I had ever left the town of Lawton, it was in a car with a bunch of guys playing basketball, and we had played in a basketball AAU tournament, and you had to try out, and I was like one of the last guys to make the team, and we are in this van, and we're driving around in this van, and they're coming through, and they're going, "Hey guys, we're in Kansas City now, and now you can say you've been to Kansas City, Kansas." And then 2 minutes later, because of state line, they're going, "Oh yeah, now we're in Kansas City, Missouri, so you can say you visited 2 states." Being from the small town in Lawton, I was like, man, that's amazing. But being able to, go and sit on the bench at that point, because I wasn't going to play that much, because we had some guys that were really good, to sit on the bench and experience what it was like was, mind-boggling for me. Just the opportunity to leave the city or state that I was in and go to the next state, that it was part of the process of learning that it's a bigger world out there. It's a bigger thing. It's a lot of things that we have to look at. And I think for any community that we live in, that we have to look outside at other places, other things. And I say even outside of our country. We have to look at other countries and see how they do things and see how we can utilize things that other people have done to make their countries better. I couldn't say perfect, but nobody's perfect. And that's one thing we do have to understand, that nobody's going to be perfect. I sort of have a mantra that I sort of go, you strive for perfection to reach excellence. You do the best you can day to day, and you work as hard as you can day to day, but also you understand that it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be as best as you can be, but also be honest with yourself and understand that you do the best for you and others, and then everything else should fall in place. And I think that's a hard mantra for a lot of people to live with, because you ask the question, what about me, and what didn't I do, or what didn't happen? But you only get what you can handle at certain points in life. And hopefully you can reach out to those around you to ask for help when you get to that point. And I think that's one thing that we have to be honorable in understanding, that, we can't do it all by ourselves. And I think that's the hard part, because I'm one of those people that have always said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to block this guy. I'm going to do that. And it's always trying to do a lot of things on your own, and realize that, sometimes it's better to understand what the community needs and what the community needs to grow and be a part of. And I think that was one thing that I got a chance to learn from having great parents. My father and mother, dad was very strong in the military and taught us how to get up early in the morning and go to work. And, if you're not up by 7 o'clock, you've wasted half the day. And so I always know that, hey, when it hits 7 o'clock, my body's already telling me that I have to get up even when dad's not around, because I know that there's things that have to be done. My mother was a seamstress, and she worked hard every day, taking care of us, as well as taking care of going to work and then coming home and preparing meals and doing different things of that nature. So you got to realize that there's all things that you have to put together and have to do to make you better individually, but also make everyone else around you better too. And getting an opportunity from there to, leave Lawton and go to the University of Nebraska, I had a chance to have great coaches and great mentors, which is one of those things that was really important as far as my life that went along, is outside of my parents, that I've had influential men and women that were able to sit and understand and listen, and also help guide some of the things, some of the choices that you make across the board, so that you can try to make the best choice for each of you. But you have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to look outside of the box. You got to be able to understand that there's other things out there that we can all learn from. So I had this Coach Osborne, that was amazing. And he opened our eyes to where that regardless of what position you play, you're just as important as the quarterback, the running back, anyone that gets the accolades, because without one, the other one doesn't matter. Now, of course, there's always those individual plays that just happen that are amazing, but one thing has to lead to the other to make everything happen, and you have to be a part of it. And since I was young, I was always one of those guys that enjoyed what I did as an offensive lineman. I never dreamed of being a wide receiver or running back, unless we're playing pickup ball, of course. That's when I get my chance to shine of what I think I can do. But beyond that, I've always loved what I do, because it's a process. It's a part of what you try to be the best at. And at one point in life, early in life, I knew, hey, I was meant to be able to push people around a little bit. And that's what I enjoyed doing. It was a lot of fun. And then going from there, I had quite a few great coaches that actually I got a chance to work with, from Vermeil to Schottenheimer. Each coach had a different piece that they have sort of left in your heart, and understand how you build it out. And I think each of you, as far as what you're doing, is part of that. And I think each person, each business, each owner, each part of this group needs to understand that, and needs to understand that there's something that you need to give to make the community better. And that, to me, is the most important piece. And so from that point, I want to talk to you guys simply about what offensive line play looks like. because we can have weak links within our offensive line, but we have to overcome those. We have to build it out. So we are really in an epiphany of what that one team, one vision, one goal looks like, because there's 5 to 7, sometimes even 8 pieces, which I call tight ends sometimes part of the line. Wide receivers are part of the line. Anyone that's part of that cohesive unit has to be able to make it go. And to me, that's what you're trying to build. That's something you're going to have to build, because we know in 2019 you had a rough time coming through there with the floods, and then with COVID, and then with just the simple fact of daily life made it tough. And I think that's one thing that you have to realize, is that you have to look at it as community. What can I do to make a part of our community better? You know, as we discuss of trying to figure out where we're going to go and how we're going to do different things, I think we should all realize that we can't do it by ourselves. We need help. We need to reach out and get support from others. And so it's okay for you to try to help each other, support each other, and be part of the team. It's really hard to be by yourself and trying to do it all on your own. And I think that's why we love the mantra for this year of one team, one vision, one goal, and make sure that you can rise as one and not a bunch of individuals trying to fight for whatever your little piece of the pie might be. And just realize that there's enough for everyone to build off of to make it stronger for the future. Thank you guys. And you guys have a great, great virtual meeting.
Thank you, Will, for that motivating message. When we come back, we will be announcing our 2020 award winners after a few messages from our sponsors.